All right, here we go. Hello, welcome to this presentation. The This title will be how to invest in an up and coming market in Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama. And this is Si Wing Yi from the Yi Real Estate Network. Thank you for joining. We're gonna have a very good, powerful presentation. And my guest is Maureen McCann from Spartan Invest, based in outer Alabama, although she live in beautiful San Diego. I mean, I'm jealous. I live in Northern California for many years, but I would love to. I would have should have bought in San Diego years ago, but now the property there is skyrocketing. So, Marine, I'm sure you're enjoying your lifestyle and then some.
A little bit, Sewing.
But yeah, but we're not here to talk about San Diego or California for that matter. We're here to talk about a very up and coming market, something I've been targeting for a while. We've been working together, my network and Spartan Invest and Maureen McCann. We've been doing business together for several years now, and we have done some business. A number of our investors have purchased through Marines Network company throughout Alabama. But what you're going to have out to hear is really very exciting and something I just can't wait to hear what Maureen McCann has to say. So I'm going to be surprised, and you guys could be surprised also. So just pay attention because this market here in Alabama has been under the radar for way too long. And over the years, just so you know, I'm always in the front of a market before it goes berserk. So if you investors just listen to this presentation real closely. So without further ado, Maureen McCann, take it away. Tell us.
Thank you, Sewing. Always so nice. I always enjoy our conversations and our sit downs. And yes, you approached me, I don't know, a few years ago, and you were asking me about the new market that we were just getting into in Huntsville about 24 months ago. And really nobody was talking about Huntsville at that time, which I was thrilled about. Not so thrilled now because there's so many headlines about the fast growing Huntsville that we have an incredible demand for supply that is quite challenging to get in this market, just because there are so many wholesalers and institutional money that's coming in to compete in a market. Because guess what? They're all looking just what myself and you and your investors are looking for is the highest return on our capital. And in a market that's nascent, that's developing, that's emerging, that's where we can capitalize on the highest rate of return on our capital. And that's what we're looking to do. So, as you know, we started in Birmingham 8 years ago when no one was even touching Birmingham. And we've had a very successful ride, continue to, because you've got Birmingham, which is a medical research hub. It's it's solidified in its industries. And that's a great way when you've got a diversity of industry, you really have insulation and protection of your capital, say, unlike an area like Detroit that has maybe one, this is kind of years back, right? But they had one industry that the majority of their community was reliant on. And if something happens to that industry, it really has a ripple effect throughout the entire community, housing included. So what we look for are markets that offer the following: good cash flow, capital appreciation, markets that are growing and that are stable, and that have equity growth and appreciation potential. So when we go out, we research these markets, and I'll surprise your guests at the very end, because I do have a new announcement of another market that we will be, that we've already entered, but we're not offering product until the end of the summer. So I will make that big reveal at the end. I'll save that for your listeners. But the topic today is Huntsville. And why is Huntsville an emerging market? Why is it a growing market? Why is it a market that investors should be paying attention to? And it really comes down to market stability, cash flow, capital appreciation. And you have all of those right ingredients for Huntsville. So what are some of the challenges we're facing right now is that the demand for the product is really high, and you've got institutional money, you've got competitors that are flooding the market. And I think if any of you guys have been paying attention, there are some supply shortages that are affecting pricing. There's also the cost of lumber, which is interesting to me how it's quadrupled overnight. Like, what exactly happened here? So, we're building brand new construction as well as renovating properties. And so we're not stopping. We know there's other people out there that are buying land and they're holding it and they're not developing it because they're waiting for the price of lumber to come back down. We're not. We're hard charging. And you know why? Because if you guys go back and do some research and you look at the new housing starts in 2007 specifically, if you look at the new housing starts in 2007, you will see that the annual housing starts were 1.5 million units a year. Now, we all know what happened in 2008, 2009. You had the flood of the market with foreclosures and distressed home sales that flooded the market. So did we need to continue to build new units? No. So it's not like they stopped, but if you actually look at the number of housing starts, new housing starts from 2008 to 2020, you will see that it's maintained about 1 million units a year. Now, what has happened with the population over that time? It's continued to expand and grow, but the housing units, the starts, were flatlined. So now we have an issue of supply and demand, and many of your investors, I know that they look at other markets. I know they're investing in other markets. And the thing that I hear on a daily basis is there's not enough inventory for me to buy, or I'm on a wait list that's going to be 8 or 9 months long. Yeah. Well, why is that? Because there's just not enough supply for the high demand. You mix that in with the very low interest rates that we've seen for quite some time. And then you add this other layer of this thing in 2020 called COVID-19, which was very good for single families because the mindset is that people want to live with more space. They want more elbow room. They don't want to share elevators. And so there's been a real drive from the multi-families to single family. The last data I heard, and this was a while back, so it could have changed, but the National Association of Realtors, they had reported a 5% decrease in the number of eyeballs looking for apartment buildings, or for apartments, right? So you've got a 5% overall across the United States average, and then we see a surge in the demand for single family from renters because they want more space from their families. They're working at home, they're going to school from home, they're working out from home. So home and space became space became a hot commodity in 2020. It's still rolling over to 2021. And so hence you kind of roll all these things together, the low number of housing starts, the number of people that would have listed their homes in 2020, but decided to hold back because everything kind of came to a standstill in 2020. So the houses that we were expecting to come on as additional inventory did not. Excuse me. And then you've got the low interest rate market where you've got new home buyers trying to get into the market, and then investors wanting to refinance, take out the capital that they have in their properties that have been appreciating, and to go in and to invest into additional properties. So we kind of had this amazing time where you have investors that are looking for several things. Investors are looking for stability, cash flow, appreciation, and a way to reduce their tax liability. And investing in real estate is a way to do that. And that messaging has been getting out from people like you, Wing, who are an advocate for building wealth through real estate, as well as other podcasters who have a very strong voice and a very big audience to really communicate this message of real estate is a way to build wealth. And I just say, think about it. For centuries, real estate has been the biggest wealth builder. It has not changed. I don't see it changing. And you and I have lived through now, well, I don't know how many recessions. I can count 6 that I've been through. And there's data that shows 4 out of the last 6 recessions, real estate has increased in value. So it's not necessarily recession proof, but it is shown and proven to be recession resistant. And as we investors, 40, 50, and 60-year-olds, we are looking to, we're looking for more stability, more certainty, more consistent cash flow, and more wealth building strategies. Real estate has been a tried and true vehicle for that. Now, the question that you and I talked about behind the scenes was which markets? How do you know which markets to choose? I know you're a researcher. You know, when you were knocking on my door early on when no one else was about the Huntsville market, I knew that there was something different about you and your methodologies. So we chose Huntsville and went into the market buying raw land, by the way. So we've been buying raw land in an area called Danville. And if you guys can imagine, if some of you might be actually be looking at a map of Huntsville, but if some of you are not, I'm going to give you a visual, right? So in your mind, I want you to picture a clock. Huntsville is right in the middle of the clock. Now, we invest in an area just west of it called Athens and Decatur. You go a little bit south, it's Hartselle. And then just to the west of Hartselle is an area called Danville. Danville from downtown Huntsville is about a 40-minute drive. Everything else is closer within, call it 20 or 15 minutes into downtown Huntsville. So what we're finding is there is a tremendous amount of growth that is happening. It is exponential in Huntsville, and it's generated by the jobs that are being created there. A lot of you guys have heard names like Google, Facebook, Amazon, Toyota, Mazda. These are big companies that have established headquarters, fulfillment centers, distribution centers, manufacturing plants in Huntsville. The FBI is relocating, or part of the FBI is relocating from DC to Redstone Arsenal. So if you guys were just to Google the number of jobs being created and the private capital that's being infused into Huntsville, it is astounding. It's astounding. And it's a great place to put your capital, because in an emerging market offers an investor several things: cash flow and the upside of potential capital appreciation. You and I, Wing, know that you don't play the equity game. You know, when you're investing in rental properties, you are investing for the cash flow. But we all know that there is this appreciation piece that comes with investing in real estate. And as a matter of fact, one of my mentors taught me, and I'll share it with you guys here, is that there's really only 3 things you need to do in order to win the money game. And he drew a triangle, you know, and there's 3 points to the triangle, just 3 things you need to do. And he said, number 1 was create cash flow. And he and I do not care how you do it. It could be through a network marketing business. It could be through starting your own business. It could be commercial real estate, residential real estate, being the bank, lending money out. As long as you've got cash flow coming in on a monthly basis, regardless of your active income from your job, that's number 1, create cash flow. Number 2, invest in hard assets. Why? Because there's 3 reasons that what hard assets do for investors. So if you invest in real estate, number 1, it produces cash flow. Number 2, it appreciates in value. And number 3, it reduces your tax liability. And that is our biggest bill in our lifetime, is our tax bill. So we have to find legitimate ways to reduce it. And then the third thing he said that you had to do to win the money game was to protect your assets. So look like you're poor on paper, but own a ton in assets and collect that cash flow month after month after month. Because I think we all know, especially a lot of the people in 2020, if you found yourself laid off or furloughed, you know, or without an income for some period of time, imagine if you had, I don't know, 5, 10 rental properties that were cash flowing and supporting you and carrying you through that time when you didn't have that income coming in from your W-2 job or your 1099, right? So that is one of the main reasons why investors come to you and I. They're looking for ways to supplement retirement, to replace their job, make their job optional by being able to replace all of their active income with passive income. And the way that they know how to do it, at least it's the easiest way, it's a way for them to understand, is to buy rental properties. They either have friends or family that have done it. Maybe they've read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, or they've listened to a podcaster. They've found some way to find their way to us. And then they're going, show me more, tell me more. How do I do it? Which market? And the markets that make sense are the ones that have 4 things. Actually, I should say 5. There's 5 things. They have low property taxes. They have job growth, like exceptional job growth. Actually, even markets that have moderate job growth, as long as it's steady and consistent over time, that produces stability in the economy and a better opportunity for you to have consistent cash flow. Excuse me. A diversity of industry. You want to have many, many industries in that particular area that you're investing in, because you don't want, you want to insulate and protect your capital as best you can, and leaving it exposed to, say, just one industry where the majority of the community is reliant on is risky. So, I like markets like Huntsville and Birmingham, and then the third market that I'll mention later. But for Huntsville, it is I want to call it the defense capital of the United States, right? It's defense, it's IT, it's engineering. You've got big name companies there. I already mentioned a few, but on the aerospace engineering side, you've got Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Dynetics, Airbus, Teledyne. There is the largest industrial research park, second in the United States, 4th largest in the world. It's called Cummings Research Park. It's directly across the street from the University of Huntsville. And, defense spending has not really been cut as much as some other parts of the budget. And so I don't really see I don't see a big risk of Huntsville overall being affected, because you've got those industries that I was sharing with you, plus manufacturing. One thing I love about Birmingham, in contrast to Huntsville, is Birmingham is logistics, warehousing, transportation, trucking, shipping, manufacturing, and it's a medical research hub. So during COVID, we didn't know how affected we were going to be overall. Our Spartan was going to be affected overall. We're a very hospitable city, but our GDP is not based off of hospitality, say like Las Vegas. So we were less exposed, right? Because of the industries that we're in. And as a matter of fact, consequently, the industries that we are in, we're thriving and growing and expanding. And I will tell you that even our company, and I'm even embarrassed to say this, so I will say this on a recorded line, is we have hired so many more people that I do not even know everybody in my company and what they do, because of how rapidly we've had to expand because of the demand on single family. Renters want more space. They will live rurally. They just want to get out of big cities and high density places and into more spacious single families. And our business has absolutely exploded, whereas I know others as well. And you could probably share with some of your other, share with your audience, the other providers that you work with. Have you heard the same thing?
Well, absolutely, Maureen, absolutely. I mean, it's just, what a great time to invest, and working with you and Spartan Invest. You guys have such a good system. You guys are very transparent. You guys provide outstanding client service. That's what my investors have been telling me after they purchase property from your network. You have a one-stop shop. You have in-house property management, a client service team, everything. You have it's just the whole one-stop shop. And there's something that real estate investors, they cannot take it for granted, because by being part of a network, not only that, I have to believe that, the property you promote are not in the open public, is not in a multiple listing service where our investors have to go out there and bid against, other people in a multiple offer bidding war situation. Your system, your company, to the best of my understanding, I mean, you have off limits, off market investment opportunities, only for investors, right? I mean,
just for your clients. Yeah. Just
yeah,
for the people that we work with. So it's private access.
exactly. That's the value add you provide. So, yep, I hear you. As a matter of fact, I went to Huntsville. I was stationed. I spent. I'm retired U.S. Army, by the way. 20 years of service. I retired almost 20 years ago. Just goes to show you how old am I.
Young you are. How young you are.
I have a second career, but I've been to Huntsville 40 years ago. I ran a 10 kilometer 10 kilometer road race in Huntsville, Alabama in 1983.
I think you sent me the picture.
I did, as a matter of fact.
You sent me the picture.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was stationed in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, which is like 3 hours away, and I happened to went to Huntsville back in those days. But Huntsville has changed a lot. Because of my military background, I've known that Huntsville has been, defense contracting and military rocket city, if you will. There's a nickname for Huntsville, Rocket City. And furthermore, I hate to steal your thunder, but the military, there's a new branch of service from the military that have entered the Huntsville arena, which is the Space Force. Is a Space Force is an additional service. It used to be like Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, and Coast Guard. Now they have Space Force. So their Space Force has built a second headquarters in Huntsville recently. So the military penetration in the Huntsville market and the defense industry and the rockets and the technology will add to the value of Huntsville in addition to what you just mentioned, Maureen. So hate to deviate from your presentation, but just the extra stuff that people need to know. So
no, that was great. That was a great add-on. As a matter of fact, I had it here and I was going to highlight it, and you did steal my thunder, but I still love you anyway.
All right, okay, I'll share.
But yeah, you were saying the NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, the United States Army Aviation, the Missile Command are all at Redstone Arsenal.
Yep.
And Redstone Arsenal is the largest employer. It's government contracts. It's the largest employer in Huntsville. And I mean, you and I know this, and I encourage your investors who are listening to do the same thing. You will find, you could just Google articles and you will find the same rhetoric, which is Huntsville, if it continues on its current growth trajectory, in 2 to 5 years, it will be the largest MSA, the largest city in Alabama, outpacing Montgomery, outpacing Birmingham. That's how fast this area is growing. And it's very well managed. It's run by Mayor Battles has done a phenomenal job, so fiscally responsible that anything that they want to get, they can get the loans to build the infrastructure that they need to bring in more roads, more economy, or more commerce, more people, more population. And it just continues to, they've really developed the infrastructure to support growth. Like the infrastructure is already there, and now the growth is, so it's like, I don't know who said it, if you build it, they will come. Mayor Battles somehow got this message, and he had, and to give you an example of how it worked, there's a road that basically goes to nowhere. It's in northern Huntsville. It's a road that he built. If you can Google there, he had the $600 million and the $800 million road projects. And this one road that he built, I can't remember the name of it, something Parkway, but it drove it out to nowhere. It was like a big empty lot field, and everyone's like, what are you doing? Well, guess what? That road that he had built was the reason that the Toyota Mazda decided to choose Huntsville as their headquarters to build a $1.6 billion manufacturing plant, hiring 4,000 people locally, right? Had he not built that road, probably wouldn't have gotten that manufacturer to come and settle there. But guess what? So then Toyota Mazda settles there. Then there's all these secondary ancillary auto supply companies that make plastics and parts to the interior parts to the car. These are, $32 million projects, $100 million projects that are just all around that one empty lot, vacant land that he built a road to. And so I have to commend him. Like I want to meet this mayor because I like the way he thinks. He's really thinking futuristically, 10, 15 years ahead. But what does the city need now so that they can become this large MSA? He's got that vision. And it's really impressive to be able to see the amount of growth. And it doesn't take much to just look at the headlines to see that this guy, what he's doing with the city council members and their vision of what they want Huntsville to look like. And they are making it happen, from boutiques, hotels, restaurants, bars, the new baseball stadium for the, what are they called? It's a horrible name. I'm not gonna lie. They're called the Panda Trash something. Trash Bandits. Oh my God, it's really bad. But they are the farm team for the Angels.
Wow.
So there's so much going on there, and I am excited to go back. My last flight, because you said I live in San Diego, which is true, and I was commuting to Alabama once or twice a month for 8 years, call it. And my last flight was March 8th, 2020. I have not been back since. I'm going back next month, would be my first time back. So I'm going to get to meet everyone new that's in my company, which we've hired 20 some plus people. Wow. And literally, I don't even know. I had to ask my assistant. I said, could you just send me a list of all the new hires? I need their resumes, what their title is, what they're doing at the company, because that's how fast we've grown. And because I have not been back there, I've been a little out of touch on that side. It doesn't mean the company's not running well. The company's running very well. I'm not familiar with all the new faces because of
you are the number one in my book. You're the number one turnkey provider company in the nation, because I experienced your process. My investors, once after they bought your properties, and they report back to me, and I've been hearing a lot of great things. So that's the value add, working with a network such as yours. And I can't wait. So look, you have some great information. A lot of people, the mainstream media, have not caught up to what's going on in Alabama and in Huntsville. So information you're putting out is really, it's just nobody have purview to it. So, we are the front end of a tremendous uptick in the Alabama and Huntsville market. So I'm excited. You got furthermore, okay, I hate to steal your thunder. I can't wait to work with you even more than before, because your market is below value compared to the other trophy markets out there. Austin, San Antonio, Raleigh, Florida, and a few other places. People have been talking a lot about it, but Alabama so far is under the radar, not much longer, and your prices are so much lower. So it will give you a lot of potential, for the future. And the prices is low for right now, that is, and the property taxes are below 1%. This is mind-boggling. Property taxes below 1% of the purchase price. For investors, investors love to hear that. Anyway, sorry to get so excited. I know you have a lot. Continue with. I know this presentation is supposed to be 30 minutes or less, but there's unlimited, because you are providing so much insight, so much valuable information that it must be, articulated, must be presented. So continue with your awesome presentation. Wow, so much.
Thank you. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit you guys with some quick bullet points. I want to lead off with what the capital appreciation rates, the average capital appreciation rate in the last 12 months overall in Huntsville was 8.9%.
Wow.
Now, historically for me, to put this into context, was I arrived in Alabama in 2012. So anything historic is before that time in my book, right? But if you look up just the capital appreciation or the home equity appreciation tables, you can see that the capital appreciation in those markets, very modest, 2 to 3% for decades, right? These were not high growth markets. All of a sudden, let's look at what's been happening and trending since 2012. And really for me, focused Huntsville has been the last 24 months and 8.9% in the last 12 months in capital appreciation with a projection. Now, again, it's Zillow and it's a projection. We never really know until we're looking in the rearview mirror, right? A year later, but they're projecting another 12.1% growth on top of the 8.9% that just transpired in the last 12 months. So are we in a growth market? We definitely are. And why are we busy? Because people are starting to get the message. Now, you mentioned, I'm going to need my glasses. I got glasses on my head and glasses here in case I lose them, right? So you were talking about how Huntsville is affordable and how we're less expensive than the national average. So here you go. The median price of average homes in Huntsville is $145,000. That was in 2020. This is 43% less than the national average of $254,000. So is it affordable to live there? Yes, bingo. Cash flow. So it's a good cash flow market. The median monthly rent of the average homes in Huntsville is $1,350. That was in 2020, which is 0.93% of the purchase price of $145,000. Our prices are between $120 and $150, right? So we're right in that median range.
The 1% rent to value ratio. So that's a critical number. Very good, very good.
That is correct. Let's see, and then this shows us that the Huntsville metro area offers investors the opportunity to make solid monthly cash flow, and that's what you guys are looking for. Okay, number 3, quick little bullet point. Huntsville's population is growing. It's so nice to hear that, but where are the numbers? Here's the data. Since 2010, Huntsville's population has increased double digits, 13%. During the period, the national population grew by only 6%. And I love it. I'm going to infuse this little piece of information here because you and I know about this, so I'm going to share it with your group. So you guys can look up, just Google the 2020 migration trends for U-Haul, and it names the top 25 U.S. growth cities. Guess what, you guys? Seawing's offering you opportunities in these markets. He's already researched them. He was already ahead. He knew even before U-Haul published this.
Yep.
And so what is migration growth? How do they measure this? So growth cities are calculated by the net gain of one-way U-Haul trucks entering a city versus leaving that city in a calendar year. Okay. Now, 13 out of the top 25 growth cities are in the, drum roll please, Southeast, the Sun Belt, where we are playing in our backyard. So Florida, Tennessee, let me get the list because I like this list. All right, you guys, and I'll put it up for you so you can see it. But essentially, your top markets: Northport, Florida; Kissimmee, Florida; Port St. Lucia, Florida; Auburn, Apalika, Alabama. That's number 4. Knoxville, Tennessee, 7. And then I'll get down to where Huntsville, 15. Huntsville, 15. Right? So what does that tell you? You've got people that are predominantly moving from the Northeast, and where are they going? They're going to sunnier, warmer climates with less taxes, more space, more stability, good, solid economy. That's what's happening trend-wise from U-Haul's perspective, right? From our perspective, being in this industry now, me for 13 years and being in various markets, now, formerly Memphis, Dallas, Houston, now Birmingham, Huntsville, and a new market that we're opening up in Tennessee at the end of the summer. I'll release it now, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Wow.
Yep. So there's a lot of growth happening in the Knoxville, Clarksville, anything outside of Nashville or around Nashville is there's a lot of growth, double-digit growth. that's happening there. It's really caught our attention.
I was stationed in U.S. Army Fort Campbell in 1991, 1990, no, 1981, 1982. I was in the Army there, and Fort Campbell, Kentucky is like 20 miles from Clarksville, Tennessee, and 40 miles from Nashville. So I know the area be a long time ago. So I'm not surprised Chattanooga is an up and coming market, is under the radar. I love to hear that. This is amazing.
And there's nobody organized there. There's no turnkey company that's organized there. We already have people moved there. We have houses that we've purchased. We've already had houses that we're in the process of renovating. We will be offering those at the end of the summer, and we will continue to expand that market just because, you know, our investors, we have, I don't know, 700 and some investors now. Most of them hold 3 properties or more. They're wanting to build a portfolio. We have to stay in areas that are conducive to what our standards are. I'm not going to go into lower standard neighborhoods just to keep offering properties in a city, right? I got to go to my B class neighborhoods in other areas that still offer good cash flow and potential capital appreciation over time. So anyway, there's the big reveal. You guys know Chattanooga, Tennessee will be the next market that we offer, and then Montgomery is probably after that. And then I'm knocking on the door of my business partners saying, I really think we should look at Knoxville, Clarksville. I can never pronounce this one. It's called, hold on, I wrote it down. I need to cheat, but you guys can look this up yourselves. It's called Murfreesboro. Murfreesboro. Thank you.
I've been through that town a long time ago when I was in the military. So,
I will tell you. So, see, in these particular markets, they have 100,000 or more residents. Like Knoxville's got 188,000. Murfreesboro's got 157,000. The growth rates are double digit. Your percent of renters are anywhere from 45 to 59%, with median incomes between $32,000 and $40,000 a year. That's our perfect rent. That's who we cater to. Right, that's exactly the renter that we cater to.
Right. So the price point. I mean, are you gonna reveal the price ranges, or are you gonna?
I don't even know them yet.
Okay.
I don't even know them yet. They have not even. All I know is I've got team members out there. We are in the process of renovating. I did hear that they're going to be a little bit higher than what we're offering in Huntsville. So let's call that 150 to 200 is what I'm guessing, but I have not seen the pro forma. I have not seen anything. I'm just giving you the little bit that I know.
Are they new builds, or they resales, or you renovated those property to a turnkey standards, or what type of business model?
These are rehabs. So we'll continue to build. We'll continue to build new construction. So new construction we're doing in Birmingham and Huntsville and Tuscaloosa. We will probably do new builds in Chattanooga. And I'll tell you why. It goes back to when we did the research on the new housing starts, and we saw that there was a decline after 2008 to almost present day. Then we knew that we started buying raw land and infill lots about 2 years ago. And then we started building when we were ready. We found the right builder. We've added a second builder because of the demand for our new homes. The new product is high, especially in the really low interest rate. You know, we were in the low 3%, buying 190,000 brand new 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car attached garage, call it 1,600 square feet. At 3.3%, you know, the cash flow and the rate of return were exceptional. And so a lot of our investors saw that. I don't want to say we have a waiting list for that, but we have a lot of people interested.
Well, no doubt about it, Maureen. Hate to interrupt your presentation.
I love it. Bring it on.
I have to say this. You know, I mean, look, the other new builds product that in other trophy markets, as I mentioned to you, they are already into 300 to 350K range. Those new construction, right? And the rents are barely catching up in those markets. So in those markets, those trophy market, as I mentioned, or much higher price point, cash flow is slowly disappearing. So any investors that are, that see the value of a new build that are less than 200 grand. I mean, nowhere else in the country you can get this value. 150 to 200 grand, new builds, renting for, 14 to $1,600.
That's it. Yeah.
That is mind-boggling. That is amazing.
Well, I'm going to rain on your parade a little bit because we started, here's the thing. We started selling those properties at 185, 190. And now with the cost of lumber, because we're not stopping, we're still building, but now we have to increase the price of the property to compensate for the increased cost in lumber. And so we're now, but still, we're still below what the trophy markets are. We're not even near the $300,000 price point for new builds. We're between 210 and 215 now, right? So still, and we're renting them for the 14 to 1600. So yeah, the rate of return and the cash flow were better when we were selling them at 185. But I can't do that now just because of the cost of lumber. Again,
because when investors put 25% down payment with an interest rate of maybe 3.7% for investment mortgage rates, and then your low property taxes, right? Of 1% or less. I mean, you when you crunch the numbers, the investors will get cash flow, right? I mean, that's easy for me to calculate. So.
Yeah, and it's the balance. Sometimes you're going to get more cash flow than you do capital appreciation. Right now, we're getting more capital appreciation than cash flow just because of the craziness and the supply shortages, and then the cost of goods, materials for building materials. Yeah.
Wow, so much, so much more to, I'm going to invite you back for another podcast, maybe next month or something. You cover so much. What else? What other crucial things you need to talk about?
Let me see. Do I have one other thing? I just wanted to kind of finish off the last two bullet points, meaning that the Huntsville market is stable, right? Because you don't want a lot of volatility in your investment market. So when you look at in the past year, the number of jobs in Huntsville decreased by 4% compared to the rest of the nation. Huntsville's job market fared 40% better from the COVID-19 pandemic. And this shows us that Huntsville has a stable job market and economy. And in the typical year, the metro is creating jobs faster than any other US market today. And that's an extremely promising sign for real estate investors. So we've got good stability. So we've got affordability, we have cash flow, Huntsville is growing, Huntsville is a stable market. And then it's funny, this little article says it offers a good chance of capital appreciation or rental appreciation and equity growth. And I know that for sure because I have seen it and experienced it personally. But let's report the numbers as they are reported here. In 2014, the median price of the average home in Huntsville was $157,746. This means that in the last 6 years, from 2014 to 2020, average homes in Huntsville appreciated 28%. During that same period, average homes increased by 36% nationwide. Although home values and rents have not risen as quickly as other markets, future growth looks promising. It's one of the most affordable places to live in the United States. It's been nationally recognized as a prominent technology hub that offers STEM employees higher than average salaries. Huntsville also benefits from Alabama's lower taxes, which helps promote a higher return on your investment. So there it is. Put a feather in your cap.
Sign me up. Sign me up. I mean, what else? I mean, what else the investor can ask for? So let me guess, Maureen. I mean, wow. You're getting me excited. I mean, clearly. So if I get excited, I'm going to articulate my excitement to my investor database. So I mean, and
I love this stuff. See, I could talk about this stuff all day. I love helping investors create wealth through real estate. I didn't grow up with the money in money. I've learned all this over the years by surrounding myself around really smart people who have done better than me. I continue to do that, to learn from them, and it excites me. I mean, think about it. What a cool legacy to leave behind this earth, knowing that You helped families increase their net worth, increase their ability to do what it is that they want to do passionately, because they don't have to worry about money. They've been able to build wealth through capital appreciation and through cash flow and through reducing their taxes by building a portfolio. And how is that going to change their family's trajectory generationally, right? I mean, how cool is that to be able to help people figure this out, show them the way? And not everyone's going to do it, because you know what? Fear has this way of holding people back. But there are some people that are listening. They're going to go, she sounds credible. She seems believable. Let's prove it, right? And then talk to people that have invested with us. Like, you know, you've got clients, you can refer your existing clients to new ones that are coming on board to ask them what their experience is. Because, you know, are we perfect? No, but man, we are highly driven, metrics driven, high accountability, high visibility company that is a paid for performance business model, in the sense that we have to do all the heavy lifting, find the neighborhoods, find the right property, get the property renovated to the right standards, find the qualified resident, place them, make the decisions on that property by good property management. And if we do all of that, and we communicate monthly with the investor, and we're transparent in our reporting with repairs and things, we do that consistently, we build this business, our investors make money, we make money, and this is how the world my world works. And so this is what I'm trying to perpetuate, help your investors get to know, and then just learn the markets that we're in. There's other markets that I'm sure are doing just as good, maybe even better, and that's why you have to diversify your capital in other markets to capture maybe some better appreciation in one market versus the other. But nonetheless, just get your money in the game. The best time to buy real estate was yesterday, and don't wait to buy real estate and wait. And I assure you, you will wake up 10 years, 15 years later, richer than you were when you started.
Well, I couldn't have said it better, Maureen. You and your company and our company, we have the same business model, same synergy, same philosophy, right? We help our investors for long term, create a legacy for themselves and for generations to come financially. So before I let you go, I know the protocol. The protocol is get my investors into your platform. My investors need to be serious. They need to obtain pre-loan approval through my source or through your in-house resource as well. You have loan agents that work with within your network as well. Yeah, get those investors in. Obviously, you do not have enough inventory for all the investors out there. You know, that's needless to say, right? So, I mean, you know, when our investors contact you, go, consult with them, and then make sure they're ready to go. Again, the inventories are always very limited. You have many more investors than there are available inventory. But if our investors show extreme amount of motivation, they will be able to buy a property through your company. And it's a matter of time. And sometimes you have to be patient. But I think that's it, right? I mean, is there any other things? What is your? I know I don't want to take word out of your mouth. What's the next step for our investors, the people that are extremely serious? What is your protocol?
Yeah, so I would say, I mean, you've done such a great job, you know, initially introducing the turnkey concept to your investors, and then the different markets that are available to them. They may have an interest in my market, and if they do, I would just say, do a nice email introduction. I will spend the first, 30 minutes with them, just really finding out what they're trying to achieve. You already know this, right? But sometimes it might be lost in translation. So I just like to ask, why are you doing this? Like today, I love that I met this one investor. He and his wife they have a disabled son, and this boy is going to need lifelong care, not even long-term care, lifelong care. So his parents, they are wanting to find ways to set up continuous streams of income for him long after they're gone, right? So this, for me, it's not about selling you a house or selling your investor a house. It's like, okay, why are you doing this? Are you trying to replace your job? Are you trying to get your wife to get out of working? Are you trying to pay for college for kids? Do you have disabled children you're trying to support for a lifetime? So I find out the why. So let's talk about why you want to do this. Is your motivation big enough? Then we figure out a strategy on, okay, how much cash flow do you want? When do you want that money to actualize? What do you need? Is there any fears or hesitations? Let's talk about those, right? Get those out of the way. And then once you establish what it is that you want, then we can build a portfolio over time to get the investor to where they want to go.
Oh, awesome. I mean, you take the holistic view to understand the investor. I mean, I really appreciate where you're coming from. That's my background as well, right? As a financial planner in my past, I also, take the holistic approach, understand the client's motivation, their financial goals and objectives, what's important about money to them, right? And all those big picture, feel good kind of communication and relationship building. So anyway, I'm so excited. So I'm glad we connected. I mean, we spoken for almost 1 hour. I mean,
is that an hour? Oh my gosh. Okay, we need to shorten it.
I mean, you have so much to tell. You're so passionate. I mean, you have great products, cash flow, and just so exciting to reconnect with you. And let's take our business to the next level. Help the investors out there to make a difference in their financial future. So, before any one quick recap before we go.
I would say for those, don't let fear stand in your way. Everything that you want is on the opposite side of everything you fear. Fear is just a construct in your mind. You just need the right team, the right people, the right education to help you reduce I don't think you ever get rid of it, but just lower that threshold a bit so you can jump that hurdle, take that action, get your first rental property, see what it feels like, get the cash flow, get that mailbox money, and get to that freedom number that you want so you can live a financially worry-free life. Because that worry-free life is pretty sweet, not gonna lie.
Absolutely. Great summary. Thank you so much, Maureen McCann of Spartan Invest in Alabama. Thank you so much for for this conversation. We look forward to do much more business in the future. Thank you so much to Siwing Yi from the Yearless Network. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.